The Lagos State Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence sitting in Ikeja on Tuesday sentenced the medical director of Optimal Cancer Care Foundation, Dr. Olufemi Olaleye, to life imprisonment for the defilement of his wife's niece. Justice Rahman Oshodi sentenced him after he found him guilty of the offence of defilement and sexual penetration of a 15-year-old girl. The judge held that the prosecution was able to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt and that all evidence before the court corroborated that of the victim. Olaleye was arraigned on 2 counts which bordered on defilement and sexual assault by penetration of his wife's niece, preferred against him by the Lagos State government. Now, both sentences are to run concurrently. His name will be registered in the Sexual Offenders Register as maintained by Lagos State. And to talk about this further, I'm being joined live by a child educator and advocate, Oluwatosin Mogbaduade. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Good morning, Adebola.
Now, let me start by asking you what you make of the judgment of life imprisonment to Dr. Olufemi Olaleye.
I'm actually excited. I'm joyed. The things that we once heard about on TV and what happened in other countries, they are now happening in Nigeria, and it's exciting to see it. It's a beautiful time to be alive.
Now, Tosin, our society, to a large extent, sort of stigmatize victims of sexual abuse, and even family members of those sexually abused are often stigmatized. How do you think we can move beyond this as a society and become sort of more receptive, in our society?
Well, in the sense of stigmatization for sexual abuse victims by families and communities, we need to change the narrative of what it means to be Nigerian. As Nigerians, as Lagosians, we are hardworking people, we are smart, we are cultured, and our society is not a place where sexual abuse can be perpetrated. That is a narrative that needs to fly in our community. We are Nigerians, sexual abuse.
Okay, Oluwatosin. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Excuse me?
Okay, I can hear you, Oluwatosin. Yes, you are sharing.
Yes, that narrative is something that we need to push forward as a community, as a people, so that we ensure that our society is safe and we're moving towards ensuring that we have zero tolerance for sexual abuse.
Okay. Now, you are a child educator and advocate. I know it may seem to be a dicey one, but I'm tempted to ask you, how can we prevent sexual abuse in our society?
Oh, wow. Good question, actually. Preventing sexual abuse is a collective effort for everybody in society. And knowledge is still power. Knowledge for children and school-age children that are vulnerable to and susceptible to sexual abuse. Knowledge in the sense that they need to receive sex education and to also know that sexual abuse is never their fault. It doesn't mean it didn't happen to them because they are bigger than other students in their classes or because they are vulnerable. And silence is never the solution. Anybody that tells you as a child that if you report him or her, you will be killed and all of those things, they are all lies. Secondly is knowledge for the parents and the teachers. They need to be educated in order to protect their children, and that PTA meetings in schools need to evolve. PTA meetings need to evolve to incorporate issues as regarding protecting children, talking about sex education, and our public officers need to know how to handle these issues so that the sexual abuse will be prevented. You're a policeman in Nigeria. If someone walks into the station and makes a statement regarding this, you do not discard it. You escalate the situation. So knowledge is a very effective tool to prevent sexual abuse in our society.
Okay.
And it's a collective effort.
Okay. Now, Ms. Mogbaduade, what can parents or guardians or even teachers do to create a friendly environment such that children or students can confide in them when they are being sexually abused?
Oh, great. Openness is key in this issue. Openness is very key. Openness in the sense that children need to know that it's okay to talk about sex. It's never a taboo. And then we need to also expand the options for our children. For a very good instance is this. If you're a child and you should know that you can always tell your teachers or your parents But there are cases that parent, that teacher may be the one abusing the child. That child, every child needs to know that you can, if you don't talk to me as a parent, as a teacher, you can always call the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. The number is always 0800 333 333. That's the number to call all the time. The communication lines have to be open so that, because sometimes the persons in authorities are the ones abusing the kids. So yes, it is never a taboo to talk about sex. The communications line have to be open. And thirdly, and very importantly, is to expand the options for the kids. You can always call DSVA, Lagos DSVA. You would get a response every time you call.
Okay, one last question. I know we're running out of time. Talk to me about, do you think the law enforcement agency in Nigeria is doing enough in tackling cases of sexual abuse in Nigeria?
Oh, great. Yes, actually, it's a step in the right direction. We're doing well. What we had in Lagos, in Nigeria 5 years ago isn't what we have currently. And then we also need to know that different agencies are involved. The police have to do an arrest. They need to go to Lagos DSB, Lagos State Ministry of Justice is involved. So these different agencies, the one thing we need to do very well at this point in time is to ensure that prosecution is faster. We shouldn't have a case in court for 3 months, 1 year. Prosecution has to be faster, and then justice in domestic and sexual violence cases. It seems like a Lagos thing currently. It seems like it only happens in Lagos. We need to grow beyond Lagos to become a national thing, because there are cases that happen in Kogi, Ogun, different states in Nigeria that justice isn't being served. So 2 things: we need to get help quicker. Prosecution needs to be faster, and then we need to make it a national event. We need to make it a national thing, not just a Lagos state happening. Thank you.
And that's a fine place to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Oluwatosi Mogbadunade, child educator and advocate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.